Hello world, welcome back to Raise Your RC. In this video today we are going to be reviewing the Schumacher Cougar Laydown Stock Spec. There's an electric two-wheel drive race buggy 10 scale from Schumacher. If you haven't seen my unboxing video a few weeks back, go ahead and check that out. But I picked this up a few weeks ago and got around to finally building it. Took me a little bit longer than normal to put this together. Things have been kind of busy around here in the world, in case you weren't aware. A lot of sheltering in place and that kind of thing going on. So, but you know, pretty much sort of the best time, I guess, to put together a race kit. I mean, a lot of people are at home, obviously, and have some free time on their hands. So, yeah, I put this together. I picked this up from discountrcstore.com, really good site here in the US. Pretty much have, I think, the biggest inventory of Schumacher parts. They're located in Michigan, have really fast shipping, and actually we sort of partnered up with them, and they were able to offer sort of a discount for everyone out there. So what they're offering is, if you pick up this kit and spend $440 or more, technically $439.99 or more, they're taking 10% off every purchase. So you can pretty much pick this up for $400, maybe pick up a couple of extra option parts, springs, brass weights, whatever, $40 worth of stuff, and then get 10% off that whole thing. And then actually, so you end up with a bunch of those option parts essentially for free. And then if you end up buying other stuff like sway bars or whatever, you'll get 10% off that in that single purchase. So anyways, check them out, discountrcstore.com. My personal favorite place to pick up Schumacher parts. So let's kind of take a look at this buggy. We'll take off the body. Super strong Velcro, as you can see. Yeah, so what this is pretty much a lightweight version of their regular Cougar Laydown two-wheel drive buggy that they came out, I think, about a year ago. As you can see, I'm running basically a 17.5 turn Reedy motor, Hobbywing XR10 just stock ESC, RX 481 receiver from Sanwa, and then a little MRT transponder, and then a Savox 1258 TG titanium geared servo up front. Other option parts I put on this are the aluminum servo horn, and then a couple brass weights. There's one brass weight underneath the servo there, a little bit hard to see, and then the brass ESC plate right there. And then I'm also running the aluminum thumb screws for the battery tie down. Other than that, I also have actually the rear sway bars. I haven't mounted them yet because I want to see how this drives without that. But overall, yeah, a really nice kit. I'm running the Jorn Neumann setup. Black springs, kit springs up front, and then black springs in the rear. I think the kit springs are green. But in that's pretty much an all stock vehicle. Now, as you can see, I am actually missing one part, which is steering turnbuckles, and I'll get into that later. But other than that, it's pretty much complete and ready to run. Now, this buggy is quite light. As you see here with a LCG Shorty Lipo, it's about 1,400 grams, which is still underweight. My scale's not super accurate. I think that may be off by a little bit, but in the UK, I believe the minimum weight is 1,450 grams. Here in the United States, it's 1,499 grams. So definitely a lot of opportunity to place weights wherever you want, or run a bigger battery or whatever. Put on some aluminum parts, that sort of thing. So yeah, there we go, Schumacher Cougar Laydown Stock Spec. Now I wanted to talk about the build, some of the issues I had and things I found. Number one, obviously, as you can tell, the steering turnbuckles were bent. Both of them out of the box were bent, and I've talked to other people who also had that same problem. So I guess kind of a common problem. My Schumacher Cat L1 Evo also had a similar problem. I had some bent turnbuckles out of the box there. So definitely double check those as soon as you get the box and make sure they're all straight. If they're not, you know, just go ahead and contact Schumacher. I just emailed them and they are sending me some out in the mail. So no real problems getting replacement parts. It's just something you definitely want to double check out of the box. The other issue I had, and not uncommon, but I did have to file down this sort of hinge pin brace right here. There's kind of some of these like long mold lines sticking out, kind of rubbing where these actual arms mount onto the hinge pin brace. So definitely recommend double checking that and making sure you don't get any binding there, because that can be an issue. Other than that, the build went together really, really well. I'll just kind of walk through the vehicle. But yeah, really nice kit, put together fairly straightforward, especially if you've built a Schumacher kit before. It's not super complicated or anything. Schumacher definitely has some quirks that first time around may be kind of weird, but after you've built a Schumacher before, you kind of expect them. So nothing really caught me out or was a big surprise. So looking at the vehicle, you can see plastic front end. A little bit surprised about that even the front hinge pin brace is all plastic. Most vehicles actually have sort of a steel or aluminum plate up front, but this is all plastic. Haven't heard anything about people breaking those, so I guess they're durable enough, but we'll see. They have this S2 sort of composite material. It looks like kind of a fiberglass or a composite layered type material. They use that there on the camber block, the shock towers, battery straps, side guards. So pretty common material that they use. They also offer carbon fiber, which I think is a little bit stiffer, but seems like this, what they call S2 material, is quite popular. Captured camber links up front, both sides. Now these ball studs are already pre-mounted into the rod ends, but they are different sizes, so make sure you use the right one on the right side. So the shorter ones go on the ends, and then the longer ones go here on the camber block to give you a little bit of adjustment. Shocks are really nice, a little bit unusual design. You can see the springs are tapered, so you cannot use normal sort of 12 millimeter bore springs. You got to run Schumacher springs, but really nice aluminum shock bodies, aluminum shock ring cap, aluminum adjusters. The sort of I think it's titanium nitride coated shafts, but some people say they're Kashima coated. Two-piece shock caps, a little bit annoying because you actually have to drill out the bleeder screw. So they only mount one way, so you got to pick which side you want to mount the bleeder screw. I recommend just putting a little bit of silver paint or Sharpie or something on there so you remember which side you actually drilled out. But they are sort of this ball cup style mounted shock caps, two-piece. So make sure the O-ring goes underneath the plastic part. Some people mount them in between the aluminum ring and the shock caps. You do not want to do that. Make sure the shock O-ring is underneath the whole thing, and it steels up against the shock body there. So yeah, shocks are definitely quite unusual. They are super smooth though. On my Cat L1 Evo, some of the best shocks I've ran. For whatever reason, they're really nice shocks. Other interesting things up front, they got sort of a single kingpin that goes all the way through. It's just sort of threaded. A little bit unusual. A little bit small bearings here on the hubs. A little bit surprised. Most kits nowadays sort of have bigger hubs, bigger bearings. They got this O-ring that captures the hex pin or drive pin on there. But yeah, looks pretty nice overall. They got sort of these bronze hinge pins. One thing with these hinge pins, they do have like a little flat spot on one side. Make sure it's pointing to the bottom. These hinge pins actually slide into the arms, but there is only one spot where you can actually slide them in. Make sure you do not over tighten these little set screws that hold them in place. So a little bit unusual. Be careful with these. Don't just jam them in. They only go in one particular slot, so definitely make sure you got all that lined up. Carbon fiber chassis, as you can see there, super nice, extremely lightweight. Angled servo, which I thought was a little bit unusual. Most servos nowadays are sort of flat. They mount it up angle, not really sure why. I guess it keeps it in line with the bell crank, so they sort of slide all in one plane, I guess you would call it. Definitely recommend getting an aluminum servo horn. Yeah, they got some funky little braces or something, it looks like, that you can mount up here. Not really sure what that is for. I think there are additional braces you can put on this thing, waterfalls, etc. But out of the box, yeah, you don't really run that type of stuff. Running down the center of the vehicle, you've got the ESC plate, comes with the S2 material. Since this vehicle is still light, I definitely recommend getting at least the brass ESC plate. That will get it a little bit closer to minimum weight. A lot of space, a lot of different positioning for batteries. You can run LCG batteries with shorter posts or full-size LiPos, up to you. And then in the rear, you can see a nice carbon fiber motor plate. One cool thing is it's got 3 screws there that mount the motor onto the motor plate. So very, very secure. If you're kind of new to RCs, you probably have experienced your motor sliding around when those things back out. Definitely put Loctite on every metal to metal connection, including your motor right there. And then no slipper. This has the slipper eliminator setup. Super nice machine Delrin spur gear, probably the highest quality spur gear I've ever seen. Extremely lightweight. It's got all the cutouts. Really nice piece. Got a steel screw here. I'm considering putting like a titanium or aluminum screw on there. I think that would be nice, but yeah, really nice kit overall. Now on the back of the vehicle, again, S2 shock towers, sort of a fiberglass type or Kevlar type composite. Same shocks in the rear. One funky thing is these bottom ball studs are actually a 2-piece design, so they use like a worm screw and then just like a hollow ball that threads onto the worm screw. So I'm not really sure why they did that, but definitely make sure you Loctite those really well. You do not want those popping up. Hinge pins in the rear are the same as the front. Hexes are similar design again, O-ring around the drive pin. And then in the back, you've got universal drive shafts, not CVA, so I thought that was kind of unusual. Universals definitely kind of free up the rear end a little bit. More common on high traction type surfaces. Captured ball studs, again, in the rear. And then one cool thing, it's got the split transmission, just like the Yokomo, just like the Team Associate. So you can basically just pop off this whole front shock tower or rear shock tower, get at your diff. Adjustable diff heights, of course. No adjustable rear hubs in terms of height, I don't think. So a little bit unusual there. But they do offer what they call sort of a low pin or high pin type rear hinge pin mount. So depending on how you flip this rear thing, if you have it mounted down, then I think that's called the low position. More suitable to low traction type surfaces, dirt, indoor clay, that type of thing. Flip it up, have the arrows up, it's the high pin position, although you want to make sure you use that little thin spacer up in the back, and then remove the thin spacer in the front of the transmission. So yeah, that's pretty much the vehicle overall. Wing is really nice. Wing is extremely thick, one of the thickest wings I've ever experienced on a vehicle. The body is super thin, so it's their Aero X lightweight body. Definitely keeps the weight down. So as I mentioned, I'm running about 1,400 grams. There's still a few things I need to add, like a rear fan mount, probably some sway bars, so that'll add some weight. I might end up actually going to a full-size light bill because it is so lightweight. But yeah, really nice kit overall. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Definitely hit the like, share, subscribe button. Throw down a comment. Look for more videos soon, and thanks for watching.